the Nigerian Association of Sex Workers has appealed to the authorities of law enforcement agencies to protect its members nationwide from harassment and abuse. NSWA made the appeal in a quote by its national coordinator, Amaka Enemo, made available to the news agency on Tuesday in Lagos. Enemo said that recent reports indicate a disturbing rise in physical assault, harassment, and extortion of sex workers by both clients and law enforcement officials. She urged law enforcement agencies to recognize the humanity of sex workers and protect them from violence and abuse. Enemo said that sex workers were not criminals, but individuals with rights who deserve the protection of security agencies. According to her, their absolute safety and well-being contribute to the overall health of communities and help to reduce the spread of sexually transmitted infections, including HIV. Despite the critical role that sex workers play in the economy and society, they continue to be subjected to systematic violence, discrimination, and stigmatization. This violence not only endangers the lives of sex workers, but also undermines their rights and dignity as human beings. We deserve to walk in safety and to live free from fear. It is time for our voices to be heard and for our rights to be respected, she said. The association's coordinator further urged law enforcement agencies to take prompt measures that would ensure their personnel carried out their duties professionally. She listed such measures to include comprehensive training for officials, creating safe reporting mechanisms, and holding personnel accountable for acts of violence or discrimination against sex workers. Others are launching public awareness campaigns to combat stigma and discrimination against sex workers, ensuring that perpetrators are prosecuted and that victims receive justice. And Emma further said that the association had resolved to advocate for the rights and safety of sex workers across the nation. She urged stakeholders, including government agencies, NGOs, and the public, to work with the association to fight the injustice and indignity meted out to its members. You see, so prostitution, sex workers, it is not a legal thing in Nigeria. It's actually illegal. What feigns this type of mindsets from Ms. Enemo? The demand for protection, the acts of it. The thought that sex workers should be bodyguarded in a country that says sex work and prostitution is illegal. What are your thoughts on this story?
It's okay. I read the story with a mixed feelings, so to say. So when they say the sex work is now a profession, I didn't know that it's a profession. I'm not going to condemn them.
No, they're human beings.
I'm not going to condemn them. But if they, like, they're afraid, according to the story that her report, they're afraid. Yeah, I know that there are a lot of things that could make them afraid. But the question that I asked myself is, if they have another option of going into another profession that might look more honorable, will they accept it? Will they accept it?
That is mind-boggling.
Assuming I'm talking to students in the secondary school, because very soon we're organizing a career day for my alma mater. And I ask them, okay, what would you like to be in future? And maybe one of these kids tell me that I want to be a sex worker when I grow up. I mean, how am I going to look at that kid? I don't know.
You know that the factors that span people into prostitution are different factors for different people.
Okay.
Right, as it were. There is this really, really lovely book, God's Children Are Broken Little Things. Now, what's made the lady, everybody had high hopes in her. Her family, her father said education is the way. She went on to study hard, went on to do all of the right things that she was meant to do. Now, her trajectory of her life changed when she was unable to get a job and she saw an opportunity to move abroad. Now, the abroad work was basically if you knew how to make hair. Now, this lady spent a year learning how to make hair, save for her degree, which, of course, every little thing in the house was very soon you soon get a job from this, your degree. You know, just giving you a backstory to why some people probably go into these things. And she said, okay, I'm going to go to Italy and I'm going to start making hair. Now, on arrival, sorry, I made a mistake with the name of the book, on Black Sister Street, that's what it's called. Now, when she got to that country, she realized that there was a madam and it was prostitution. And you have to pay for all of the, you know, your trip, your visa, and all of that. Now, those people are subject to the disappointments. Firstly, was what drove her into prostitution. The fact that she could not come back to Nigeria empty-handed. The fact that she had looked for a job everywhere, despite her good certification from school. You know, all of these factors are factors that probably possibly pushed most of these people out there. So what are your thoughts as regards protecting them? Their rights. At the end of the day, they're still human beings, right? And this, the abuse they face, both from their customers, both from security agencies. How do you think the security agencies can come in and we as a people, as a society, can help these ones integrate into better living and change this profession?
All right, now from that background story that you just gave, yeah, I have heard a lot of stories in that angle, how they are promised so much when they travel abroad, and then at the end of the day, they find themselves in this.
Right, I'm drawing from that story because
yes.
over here in Nigeria, there's some of them that are educated, there's some of them that are currently in school. You know, there's some of them still trying to build themselves into more valuable people in the society. But in the meantime, survival is key. You would agree. So what are your thoughts as regards to them being in this trade? Do you think it's because we don't have enough job opportunities? Do you think it's because the society doesn't have a good integration process for people that are done with school as regards to job? We have the Youth Service Corps, but that doesn't necessarily integrate you into the system in real time.
Very well. Yeah, we do not really have a good integration system. We don't have that. Then, as per the factors that driving some of them into this act, yeah, these things do happen. But I will just say, we still have a choice. Before I digress, coming to that protection, yes, for those ones that will work so hard, and then at the end of the day, they will say, Madam, they report to. No, they should be protected against such categories of people that would tend to traffickers. Yeah,
oftentimes, you know that they do not necessarily have an apartment, some of them. Now, some of them are being housed by the madam. Some of them are being fed by the madam. So there is an expectation that the madam is the worker and she will expect some wages, right? There are certain countries that have legalized prostitution. Do you think it's something, because if it is legalized, you would agree with me that to some extent, the security organizations or societies should be able to protect them? Because in many countries where it is legalized, you put your hands on a prostitute, it's a big deal. You're going to jail, you're being sent away, you're going to serve time. But over here in Nigeria, do you think they get the sort of treatment because it is not yet legalized?
I think so.
Because in Australia, prostitution is legalized.
I think so. It is because it is not legalized. So a lot of people still treat them with this, you know. No. But it doesn't mean that their lives should be endangered. Because I still hear a lot of cases where it's talked about Yahoo boys using them for rituals. We've heard of such cases. So that really poses a lot of danger to these set of people, so to say. But I would still say you have the option of backing off.
Backing off to what?
Beautiful. Now, we have found ourselves in a country, it's not as though things are working for everyone.
You know, I want to also point out something. You know that prostitution is a business. Sex work is a business. You offer a service, and someone patronizes you for your service. Right. Now, when we look at the workers, do these laws of illegal, you know, prostitution being illegal, you know, I don't know how much it transcends to the people that, you know, patronizes them. right? There won't be a business if they didn't have people patronizing their
Beautiful.
business. Yeah.
Beautiful.
What are your thoughts in that light?
Well, this will not fall back on their business partners, so to say, which is the male food.
Given that Nigeria is a very religious country, everybody has a belief. Nobody wants to be openly seen with a prostitute, as it were. What are your thoughts as regards, looking at it from a religious point of view, what are your thoughts as regards this act? Because if they don't have customers, they won't still be in existence.
Beautiful. So when it comes to that, it is now on the male folk.
And the female folk.
No, like you said earlier, if the men are not there.
Oh, they are male prostitutes too.
Oh, then it's like I'm not following.
They are male prostitutes.
All right, so whichever, if those that are patronizing are not there, there won't be any markets for them.
Right.
So automatically, that will, crumble the business, so to say. So it is on those patronizing. They are the ones that are, putting embers on the fire.
You know, the choice of business to do, it's as an adult, you can pick the business to do, right? Yeah. Do you think legalizing prostitution is going to help keep them safe?
That might help keep them safe. But it's on those that are making the policies if they're going to allow that for Nigeria. Looking at our religious background that you mentioned earlier on. So,
right. Thank you so much.